NoDream Jail here. Oh. And I declare and I do hereby decree. Decree. Yeah, look carefully, boy.
Alright, guys. Hey, it's me, Kobe.
Yeah, he's alive.
Yep.
Surprisingly.
I'm actually on a podcast.
He's actually on a podcast. Let's go. Yeah, NoDream Jail. I'm here, and Kobe already said he was here. Mm-hmm. But also we got
NoDream name pending. I don't know my name. I'm Jonathan. What's up, guys?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
There we go. There.
Okay, cool. There we go.
What's
Nah, that's it.
NoDream Youth.
NoDream
Here as
Youth.
always.
spelled?
What are you eating today, youth?
Nothing.
W.
Wait, he does have a pile of unwrapped. He has a pile of granola bar trash at his feet right now.
He ate it before the.
It's like 4 packs. It's like 4 packs of granola bars at his feet.
I didn't notice that before.
Are we gonna talk about the lemon
Kyle's
pie?
kind of just lounging with his pile of trash.
Are we just gonna talk about the lemon pie that you guys ate?
Oh, let's not talk about
One
that.
Piece.
That's a good anime.
Yeah, I watched that.
Alright, guys, so by your decision, you guys voted for this. I put up a little poll on
Drum
Instagram
roll,
or
please,
whatever.
Kobe.
Tonight's topic is self-worth.
Oh.
Why are you guys perfectly synced? That's the creepy part.
What was that about?
Yeah, so self-worth, right? I can tell by how many of you voted for this that it's probably a very relevant topic.
But they actually voted
Yes.
on Instagram.
Yes.
Oh, I voted that.
We should do a vote for my name.
I voted for
We
Carson.
should? I mean, we can do that.
We'll just brainstorm a few and then. I'll
before
let
we
people
get-
decide.
Froggy Fresh.
Froggy
Froggy
Fresh.
Lord
No, not that one.
Lord
Anyway,
Lord
before we begin,
I don't think
I
can
feel like
do
we should go ahead and plug the Insta. That way.
Or we can open up in prayer instead.
That's way better than plugging the Insta.
That is.
Who's got it? Kobe, go ahead.
Me? Alright.
Kobe prayed last time. It should be J.O.
I did.
Yeah, remember
No,
on the
I'll
first
pray.
one? when you
Guys.
opened
I'll pray. 'Cause
Hold
I'm probably
up.
not going to be talking the whole time anyway.
No,
I got
up? No, Kobe's definitely got this.
think I
usually
got
talk more
this.
than me, so.
No, I'm doing this again. Let's pray.
Alright, let's see.
God,
Oh, you're praying or me?
you got it. You got it. You got it.
Alright. God, I pray that anything that comes to our minds that we want to say on this podcast, you just make it revealed to us. And that everything that wants to flow off our tongue, it just comes out. And we can say we can say the things that we want to say. To pray that we're vulnerable during this, and that everything that we say, we have truth behind it. And we're not just trying to fake and get viewers. We're trying to be real and get people to know you, God. And I pray that we just reach out to people in this podcast. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Good praise, Kobe. Good
Oh,
praise.
that was good, bro.
Nice praise. You got good praise. All right, so before we can talk about self-worth,
Why'd you say praise?
praise. Okay, so
That's
I
what
take
Jaden said.
this kid
This is
named
Jaden.
Jaden to church, right? And he's a new Christian. Well, he was a new Christian back then, and he said like
I mean, technically,
His
he's
first-
still a new Christian.
Well,
he's
yeah.
He's not that old.
we're all
in his walk.
technically new Christians, but he said like his first prayer or something, and then he looks up, he's like on his knees, and he looks at me and goes, "James, were my praise good? How good were my praise? On a scale of 1 to 10, were my praise good?" I was like, "Yes, Jaden, you have good praise. Good
He's
job."
like, that was good praise, right? He's like,
Well,
did you have the
yeah,
arm?
I had to explain to him that it's not like about that, like how good it is or how good it sounds, but
I don't think I explained it to him. I was like, yeah.
Did he
that
have
was
good
bro.
praise though?
his praise were pretty good.
I just told him that was good, bro.
Nice.
I didn't explain it.
That's real nice. We
Yeah.
should have him start off the podcast.
Oh, we could.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. Anyway, so before we dive into self-worth, we have to, I guess we're going to be using some words interchangeably. Like some words we're going to use in place of others.
So try to keep up, okay?
Yeah.
I
Try
think-
and keep up.
I think we should
It's the
define
same thing I
what
was
those
thinking
words
of.
that we are using interchangeably are.
Yeah. So go ahead with that, Kyle. You have the definitions right there.
Oh, those aren't the words we're using interchangeably. The words.
Oh,
we're
no,
using-
go ahead.
The words we're using interchangeably are truth.
Truth.
Right? Well, no, not truth. Trust. My bad.
Trust, yeah. I was like, wait, I was on a completely different podcast and I was about to derail the whole thing.
Trust and confidence.
Right.
We're using those definitions as the same word.
Yeah. So if we say self-confidence, we mean trusting yourself, because having confidence in something is having trust in it.
Or if we're saying trust in God, we're also saying confidence in God.
Oh, okay. That's good that y'all explained that. Some people will be like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you're probably wondering how this relates to self-worth, but
we'll
you'll
get there.
After you read the definitions, you'll get it.
All right, so we looked at the definition for self-esteem, confidence in one's own worth or abilities, comma, self-respect. Worth in the adjective form means equivalent in value to the sum or item specified. The noun of worth, the value equivalent to that or someone or something under consideration.
Kobe should have read it.
Yeah.
No, Kyle got this.
The level at which someone or something deserves to be valued or rated.
Yeah, right, it might be kind of bad.
Wait. So, what's an example of worthiness?
Okay,
Because we
make
know
sure you
what
read the one
self
that I-
means.
Read the one that I
Hold
wrote.
on,
Why don't you just
because
say
we also
Cody?
did the
Read the example I wrote for worthy.
Oh, we did the. Okay, go ahead.
we did the definition
So,
for worthy.
the definition of
You could
worthy.
just say it.
Go ahead.
Like, I don't-
I think they know what worthy means.
But in case they don't, the adjective is having or showing the qualities or abilities that will have recognition in a specified way. The noun is a person notable or important in a particular sphere. And so the example Kobe gave when it came to the word worth, everyone isn't worthy to live millionaire.
Yep.
What if they don't know what Mjolnir is?
If you don't know what Mjolnir is,
Not gonna
you
go
know-
on that tangent.
What about
Oh, okay.
Excalibur?
Not gonna go on
Only
that
the
tangent
one true
either.
king could pull the sword from
You
the
know who
stone.
Thor is? The guy who lifts the hammer and does all that lightning and stuff.
Yeah,
The
he can only do that because he is
Oh,
worthy.
yes,
Oh,
he's
you're gonna
worthy.
say
I mean, so is
God.
Captain
He's
America.
worthy.
Yeah, that's better.
So is Captain America.
Oh,
Yep.
oh yeah.
That goes along with
Wow.
worthy though.
It does.
He's worthy. Not everybody else was worthy.
In the beginning, he wasn't worthy, but now,
Actually,
yeah,
we
he
think
was.
he was, but he was just trying to be nice. Let's not go on that though.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's another podcast. Honestly,
Yeah. Actually, we should do that. I like
could.
that kind of stuff
let us know what you guys want to see in the
Coming
comments
soon.
because
Yeah.
coming
because
soon.
we like that stuff.
So self-worth, right? It's really okay. So we know what self is, right? Because it's obviously a word we've known since we were born. Like our culture is like self-centered, like very self-centric, and like it's built around who you are and like
Who you're supposed to be.
Yeah, and shaping your path down in the future. Yeah, like you said, who you're supposed to be. And now we know worthy means the value assigned to something. Like worth is the value assigned to something, right?
Worthy is having or showing the qualities or abilities that have recognition. In a
Okay, so
specified
worthy
way.
is showing the quality of worth.
Yeah.
Like being worth something. So when it comes down to it, it's really I feel personally it's a question of identity. Like that's the deeper thing we're going for here. And yes, we're using, like we said before, so you don't get confused, we're using the term self-confidence
And trust.
and self-trust or trust interchangeably with self-worth.
Yeah, you were about to say truth again.
Yeah, I was about to say truth again. It was stuck in my head from the beginning. All right, so I think the best way to do this would be to start by starting inward with ourselves and then working outwards. So who do you think you are and how do you see yourself?
Jonathan.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll start off.
Well, you want us to describe who we think you
Wait,
are?
are we
Are we
descri-
are we supposed
Oh,
to describe
Maybe
each
we should
other?
try to.
Or are we
Yeah,
going to do ourselves?
let's try to describe each other.
All right, so we're going to
Describe
describe.
Describe.
I
Describe
can't
kind of.
words.
I like to describe people.
We're going to describe, what should we do, the person across from us or to the left? Or?
I think all three of us should give an opinion about
Yeah.
each
On
like
each
that.
person? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
So
First
we're
off,
doing,
like-
we're doing
It'll probably
Jonathan
be better
first.
because
Yeah.
I'm not as insightful about that probably as the rest of you guys.
Yeah.
You guys have known each other.
I've
a
been
lot
watching.
longer.
I've really been watching you.
I'm happy to hear what you'll say to me.
All right.
Look
Go.
good.
All right, who's going first?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
we're talking about Jonathan.
Yeah,
first.
okay, so who's
Yeah.
going to talk about John? Oh, we're just,
Oh.
Yeah.
are we doing it in turns?
Sure.
Yes.
I'll go.
All right, Kobe's turn.
Since you've been watching it.
Like the main thing people are probably gonna say about you is like we think you're like really chill. Like you're probably the most chillest dude we ever met.
Yeah.
Like whenever we're like arguing or something, he's like, yeah. It's a good thing though. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't really get mad all the time. I don't know if you get mad inwardly, but it's good not to show that you're mad all the time. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, you don't express it.
Not all the time. I can be mad, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take it out on anyone usually,
Yeah.
unless I get like really like I have to like
That's
break
what I
through.
think's cool about you.
All right, I'll go next. So, like, for me, when I see Jonathan, again, it's this like just relax and mellow kind of tone.
Yeah, you're. It's like you're always.
He's like
happy.
bopping from side to side while sitting on the couch right now.
If I ever saw Jonathan mad, I'd be like, "What in the world?
Who is that?
Who are you?"
I would be like, "What happened? Who is messing with my boy?"
Yeah.
Like Jonathan is normally very chill and like very open open-hearted and open-minded towards other people, like where they come from.
It doesn't help that you're wearing an oversized sweater right now.
That's probably why I'm
just
so
pulled it
happy.
over
I got
your
my new
knees like-
sweater on. I'm feeling myself right now.
Yeah, check out the pics on
The
Insta.
thing is first.
Thank you.
My opinion on Jonathan, like you're super funny and you have impeccable fashion sense. I've noticed.
That's
like
big facts,
it's like you
bro.
don't even like you don't try
Thanks,
to like
guys.
match or anything.
Thanks, guys.
It just somehow works.
Yeah,
like,
no,
I know I have
I'm
that
really
same
bad.
quality
Well,
too sometimes.
so the key to my fashion sense,
Uh-huh.
I just have a lot of stuff in my closet, and I very rarely do laundry, so I just kind of have to
Yeah.
work with what I got. Yeah, no.
We could say you got that splat.
Yeah.
Schmoo.
That splat. All right, who's next? Kobe.
James. No, we're gonna talk about James.
James.
Let's talk about Kobe,
We can talk about me.
and then me, and then we're going.
We're
this
gonna
way.
okay.
Oh, we're going.
We're going
okay.
clockwise. All right, let's talk
Very
about
cool.
Kobe.
What about me?
And I guess I should start.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, better say fashion, cause
All right.
I'll be trying hard on this
Oh,
fight.
no.
Oh, man.
I
I'll sit here with mismatched socks.
Crocs.
My brother gave me these, bro.
Oh, smooth. All right, go ahead, Jonathan.
Slap.
Yeah. I think Kobe is probably the second chillest member, I'd say. He's pretty similar to me as far as that goes. I've known him the longest, technically,
What?
because we
Yeah,
went to elementary school
Yeah,
together.
fifth grade.
I didn't really talk to him that much, though.
No, I'll talk to you a couple times.
Yeah. But that's besides the point. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. We're just trying to give you we're trying to give you the lore here.
Yeah, the lore, the backstory.
But yeah, so these guys have probably known each other a lot longer, so of course I'm not gonna have as much insight. But from what I see, Kobe's a really chill dude. He's really cool.
Thanks, bro.
He's really fun to hang out with, and I enjoy his company.
Thank you.
All right, James.
Fucking interview.
An interview. I don't know. I say you're like super goofy,
Oh,
but you have like a deeper, sensitive side, I guess.
yeah. That dude.
Yeah,
I
you-
So many things I don't
you
know.
are soft and in touch.
Dang.
Yeah, no, but like you're pretty goofy, but you have like a deeper, sensitive side, and like I've noticed you want to know more about spiritual stuff. Like if you don't have a question, you're not like afraid to ask it, and you usually speak your mind. And yeah, you still can't beat me in Smash, but you're getting there.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
You're getting there. Let's see. Oh, you can dance really well too, but that's not who you are. That's something you can do. But we'll talk about that later. I don't know. Pretty energetic, pretty funny. Yeah, cool guy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kyle.
All right. Kobe, you're probably like. Not like in a mean way. How I'm trying to say, you're probably like the comic relief of the group.
Oh.
Got you, dude.
I am.
Like,
That was James.
What?
nah, James is the comic relief. No offense to you, James, but
Wait, why am I?
Yeah,
the
you're
comic
not funny.
relief?
you're not.
I'm JL.
You're funny, but you're not Kobe funny.
Oh man.
Okay.
I'm not?
Back to Kobe.
I don't
But,
know.
I was the comic.
I thought James was the
But I think Jonathan's right. I think you're the second chillest in the group. I mean, you are competitive like the rest of us. In terms of like you when it comes to competition, you strive and you want to be number one in what you do. But you still hold tight to who you are in terms of you're always there for your friends and being that super supportive structure in their life. So
And you catch really well. I don't know what it is. Like the ball just like falls into your hand. Like he'll be like on the
In
other
what
side of the
sport?
planet.
Any
Any sport involving a
Soccer?
ball.
yes.
Any sport involving a
He
ball.
catches the ball in soccer.
I don't know what the heck it is.
Unless he's goalie.
the ball just like magically falls into, he'll like catch it between two
I don't
fingers.
know.
It'll be like a hard baseball, like that's flying, that's coming down like a comet, and he'll go blink and catch it with like chopsticks or something.
Why does he have chopsticks?
That's never happened to me at all in my life.
I swear it like gravitates toward his hand. It's like a magnetic field. I don't know what it is.
All right.
That's
What
just
was the
one
point of
I
that
saw,
tangent?
Anyway,
All right.
it's just a sport.
Now talk about
Kyle,
you.
James.
You said going
Yeah, we
counting.
got it.
You
Yeah.
said
Try to
clockwise.
switch it up.
we can
Ah.
go time. Y'all finna roast me? Welcome
right.
to the roast of jail.
Kobe, go ahead.
I'll say James is like one of the most creative people I've ever met. Like that man's always like reading and like writing and stuff. Like if you like first meet him, he'd be like, "Dang, that man's kind of dumb or goofy." I did not mean it either. I wasn't trying to.
There
be
goes
rude.
my self-esteem.
I'm not trying to be. My bad, bro. Like, if you, like, met him, you'd be like, nah, that man is not smart. But if you, like, get to actually know him, that man, he's, like, really smart. And, like, he reads all the time. He writes. He's super creative. And he definitely cares about, like, all the people he talks to. Like, when you, like, try to text him or something, like, he's, like, nice enough to actually, like, text the person that keeps talking to him instead of, like, not giving them their number. So,
Take notes, girls.
yeah. James is definitely genuine and smart and creative. That's what I have to say.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Now it's time to talk about the boy.
What are you talking
Boy.
about?
Talk about the boy.
Oh.
You?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Jonathan was like, I'm ready though.
You have my
Jam?
permission, you can go.
So James is highly intelligent, whether he lets people know or not.
Not stupid.
He's highly intelligent.
Guess he doesn't let people know.
Yeah. It's a secret.
And he
Don't tell
can
me.
he wears his heart on his sleeve without a doubt. Even though sometimes he doesn't like to be as open when it comes to certain things because he likes to make sure everybody else around him is happy.
Yeah.
And tries his best to make the better atmosphere for everybody else. And he definitely knows how to shine the light of Christ whenever he's around because he is a walking Bible. If I ever need a reference, I'm either going to James or a pastor's kid that I know.
Huh.
And so
Like, mentally, that man, like, has, like,
it is locked
biceps
down,
as
bro.
big as, like, an elephant.
What
Yeah.
about
But, like, physically?
physically?
No. They're, like, small.
Stop! That's the second time. My self-esteem is already down on the ground. You just like push it to the center of the earth.
But, anyway, to finish up,
JK.
James has very good leadership qualities, and he shines that very well. And any situation, he'll either let another person lead or he takes in charge when he definitely sees fit. So that's a big quality by him, as he can see and read a room very well.
Yeah, thanks, man. Very cool. Very cool.
All right,
Nice.
John.
Thank you, Lon.
That might be in the poll, guys. If you like Stankulon, give this video a like.
I like Lord Farquaad.
What do you like?
Lord Farquaad.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I think that's copyrighted.
Yeah, that's definitely. I'm not gonna do that.
No.
Okay, so James.
Alright.
Yeah, what can I say about James, guys?
I don't know.
No, James is really cool. He's
Coolest black dude on
what do you? Huh?
I don't know many black
You
dudes.
can't say that.
So yeah, James, he's like always kind of the life of the party, but like he doesn't try too hard to. He's just kind of being himself, chilling, and I really like that. He's really funny. Yeah. He's a cool guy.
But not like comic relief of the group funny. Just
I
like
guess not. I mean,
Like-
I didn't think any of us were comic relief.
I don't think
You're
I
like
think
a
each of us are
I thought
people and
Kobe
we
was
deserve
comic
to be
relief.
treated as such.
Jonathan's like,
I'm not the object
I was
comic
comic
relief. Alright, Kyle. Wow, we've already spent like 17 minutes on this.
Uh-huh.
Alright, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's Kyle.
What do you mean? It's-
No, we talking about him.
Yeah. Wait.
So you're going first.
He don't say that.
Oh, I didn't say anything rude
Alright.
to James yet.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, you forgot to say that. Go ahead.
James, yellow is my color, so don't wear it ever again.
My heart. You sound so savage.
It looks good.
You
on
sounded
you.
so savage. Don't
I
wear
was
it ever
lying.
again.
I was lying.
Alright, so
You're going first.
youth.
I've known you the longest out of the group,
That's
and
funny.
you want to do
I've
that?
known Kobe
Hey, I'll go.
before you.
I'll go.
No, I've known you the longest out of.
Hey, I'll go. I'll go.
No, Kobe.
Bro, I'm going right now.
I think I got this.
I'm talking right
Kyle.
now. Where's it coming?
Bruh.
I don't.
You know what, Kyle?
Well-
you know what I think about you?
Oh, fine. Go ahead.
All right, let's go.
You know what I think about you.
So Kyle's like one of those people, like, he's like always helping people. Like when somebody like asks something, or like they're like, "Hey, I need help like golfing or something." He's like, "You know what? I can help you." I'm not trying to be funny. Like even though Kyle's like busy with something, he like goes out of his way to help people, and like he takes time out of his day. That's what I like about Kyle. Like he like helps everybody all the time, and he's there for somebody. Like if you need help with something, and like you're struggling, Kyle will be there for you. Even if you're struggling with something else that's his own, that's kind of bad sometimes, but
Very
part of
cool.
That's so sweet.
All right, Jonathan.
I'd say Kyle is probably the most motivated member.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
Aw.
Yeah, that's and I like his ambition and You know, if we're trying to get something together, you know,
Oh, yeah,
some of us are a little wishy-washy sometimes, and Kyle's just like, no, why can't we do it? Why can't we do this now?
That
Why
man's
can't
like the dad of the group.
yeah.
I was waiting on that.
Right.
He's also super smart too.
Yeah, that's true. He's smart. And he's really funny too. All of us are.
Yeah, we are.
All of us are the
It wouldn't work
comic.
if
Wow,
it would not
thanks,
work.
John.
If it
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, no, Kyle's really cool.
Yeah.
They might show us toes too much. But
I think I said all
Chocos.
3 of you guys were really cool at the ends. I just realized that.
It's all good. Because it's true. It's all good.
Song it.
It's on you, bro.
What? Oh my
It's your turn.
You didn't think of anything in the time we gave you?
No. Okay, so guys, if you don't know, like, these are the first time we're like doing this or saying any of these, because these are actually kind of surprising. Like, we didn't practice this before.
Are they?
Huh?
Yeah, it is kind of.
It's kind of
They
surprising.
are? I didn't feel like
All right, let's see. Kyle, we clash a lot because your personality is almost like mine,
It is
but
exactly
it's different enough to the point that makes a huge difference. But yeah, I know you struggle with your call for a little bit, but I see that now you're like dead set on that path. And like you're super good with math too, which is one of my flaws and weaknesses. I'm not good at math. Like literally everything else I'm good at, but math, no.
Y'all kind of are like the counterparts. Like you're
telling
like
you,
good at English and he's good at math.
Naruto
I'm just
and
like
Sasuke.
I'm not like good at one main thing. I'm just equal.
Yeah, but you're always willing to help people.
I'm equal across the board. I don't pride myself in anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and if there's always like a problem or something, Kyle like tries to figure out the
Yes.
solution to it.
Yeah.
Like, and you won't stop until like like I can't stand puzzles. Oh my
Like some
goodness.
people they might.
But like
yeah.
this man stayed at my house till 4 a.m. because there was like not five. There was like six pieces. No, wait, what?
It was 6 pieces missing in the puzzle.
There was like 6 pieces missing in like this one puzzle, and he found every single one of them and put them together, and like he did not leave until like super early in the morning.
Yes.
So
Some people like if they're trying to help somebody, he'd be like, you know what? Let me get to my schedule. Like I don't know. Kyle, he be like, nah, I'm gonna.
I don't know. I guess I'm just very determined. and
yeah.
Willing to help others
And
because
he buys people lunch a lot.
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
For real?
Yeah, he does.
it's like
It's nice.
because I guess what I went through as a kid.
When are you gonna buy me lunch?
I'll buy you lunch.
That man's buying me lunch.
I make
So-
money. I'm not gonna try to mooch off people.
All right, so on to the next part. We got to talk about why that was relevant.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't see the good things about yourself because you're always looking down on yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you stand in front of the mirror every day and say I'm ugly, and I'm never gonna get any better, you're constantly gonna think that. Just like NF said in his song, I can't remember what he said.
That's what I was doing wrong.
But I'm like something to go along with that. It's like you're going to be your worst critic. You're going to be your biggest critic.
Yeah.
And so you're always going to nitpick everything about you because you're the one living in your skin.
Yeah. And I promise you, like, there's the people that you surround yourself with, whether they're, I'm hoping they're good influences, but I'm pretty sure they don't want you to do bad. Like, they're not looking out. So, like, if you mess up, they can just laugh at you. Like, I'm pretty sure they want the best for you, and they see your good qualities, and they see that you're trying. So, like, what we just did, do that to each other daily. Like, go, hey, I see how compassionate you were and held the door open for that elderly couple that, couldn't hold it for themselves. So, encourage each other, be there for each other. And that helps a lot with the whole self-worth thing. Like, I've always struggled with my outward appearance, I guess, growing up. Yeah, I wasn't ever, like, satisfied growing up with my outward appearance. Like, a lot of the kids used to pick on me about it and call me names. And I've always been pretty short, actually. But now I don't really have a problem with it. Like, I feel pretty comfortable in my own skin. But I look back on it now, and this brings up a good psychological point Kyle had. But I look back on it now, and I wasn't really upset with my outward appearance and, like, how everybody else saw me. I was actually upset that I wasn't the person who I needed to be and who God called me to be. And I guess I took that out on my outward appearance. Like, I reflected all that inward pain onto my outside appearance, and it made me feel a whole lot worse about myself.
So to, like, go along with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And, like, so when you think about fear, it's kind of like the same thing. You have to pinpoint where that fear is. And Jonathan touched on that last week, even though we didn't get to hear that part. Jonathan touched on the part where you have to pinpoint your fear. It's the same thing with your self-esteem and your self-worth. You have to pinpoint what's making that struggle
Yeah.
and what's making you feel this way in those situations.
Right.
And then once you're able to pinpoint that, you have to reflect on it and sit in it. And it's super uncomfortable to sit in that kind of stuff. It's super uncomfortable to look back and be like, that's an ugly moment in my life.
Yeah.
But it's making me react and act in these ways.
To have to like go back into your past and dig those skeletons up that you buried a long time ago.
But you have to dig them up to get them out.
You got to.
You can't fix anything by just passing over a problem. You have to be able to not only be vulnerable about these things, like we've been, and be open, but to...
No, we're not ending that out. Kobe's shirt just squeaked so loud. Anyway, Kyle, back on your soapbox. What were you saying? Soapbox, back on whatever you're saying.
Yeah, actually, Kyle's the only one standing, and he's on a soapbox right now.
A box of soap.
Like, I didn't even think soapboxes were real.
Okay, back to it. But
oh, you had a good point about that in here.
Yeah.
In the notes about looking glass self.
Oh, so in sociology we learned about the looking glass self theory.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was by Charles Cooley, and what it was is the opinions of your peers and others, you let that determine and define who you are. Mm-hmm. That becomes your self-worth, and that becomes who you believe you are because of what other people are saying around you. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that can be really bad because sometimes you can be in a really toxic environment around people who either constantly demean you, or you're in a place where people are hating on you, bullying you, and just being in that kind of negative space. And so what do you project onto yourself, what they're saying? Because that's what you're starting to believe.
Yeah. And that leads perfectly into the next point. Who are you to your community? There's an old African proverb. I can't remember. I don't know exactly how to say it, but it basically translates to you are who you are in relation to others. Like the bonds and relationships you have with others define you. And that goes back to Proverbs talking about the company that you keep. A wise man keeps good counsel, right? It's not because, it is because he is a wise man because he keeps good counsel, but he also keeps good counsel because he's a wise man, right? So that the relationships you have with others reflect not only on you, but on the people around you too. Mm-hmm. Does anybody have anything on this? Because it's kind of a hard point to make. Like, who are you in relationship to your community? Kobe, go ahead. You got anything? Not with this one?
Oh, are we explaining who we are to our community?
Yeah, to the people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, who do you think you are, Cody?
Or what do you try to be at least?
What do I try to be?
What do you try to project as?
Like, it could just be like your relationship with your family. What role do you play in your family?
What I want to be? I'd probably say I'm not really good with my family. I'm probably not home all the time, but I want to be home. That's what I would say. Mm-hmm. I want to be a good brother, I want to make sure I do my chores. I'm an obedient son to my parents. I want to make sure I'm at church helping out so the church can keep going and, serve God. Mm-hmm. That doesn't always work out, though. But that's what I definitely want to be.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
All right, Jonathan?
All right. Let's see. It's kind of hard. As far as my relationship with others, like, I don't know. A lot of times they feel a little more shallow than they should be in most cases. I'm really working on developing deeper relationships with people right now, to be honest, because back in high school and stuff, I never really hang out with people, after school. I'd just go home and stuff, and even with my family, we don't hang out all that often. And we're all on different schedules now, so it's gotten even worse, so, but yeah, I could definitely use some improvement in my, being with others and stuff. And one part of that is I want to be uplifting to people because, of course, I mean, you don't do it because they're going to uplift you back. But if you uplift other people, you're going to receive it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like you said, there's also a negative side to that too. Like, because we as humans are going to fail, right? So if you're dragging or obtaining your sense of self-worth from your relationship with others and the community, that can be actually really, really fragile because you're going to fail. Like, it's
inevitable because we're human.
Yeah, you'll try. You don't intend to fail people, but you're going to fail. Like, you won't be able to be there for everybody. You're gonna let some people down that you have relationships with that you don't want to let down.
Yeah, I think I definitely struggle with that. Like,
Yeah.
I try to, like, hang out with my friends, like, all the time instead of being home. Like, my mom would be like, Kobe, why you leave the house so much? It's like a conflict between staying at home because I want to stay home, but I want to hang out with my friends at the same time and, like, be there.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's, like, really hard sometimes.
Like, to kind of bounce off of that in terms of, like, as you guys said, like, I try to be there for people, and sometimes I'm not enough.
Yeah.
And I can't be enough because I'm one singular person. I'm human.
Right.
But, like, as much as I want to be there for everybody, I can't. And I fail in those areas sometimes.
And part of having, I guess you could also use the term self-esteem interchangeably. But having, I wouldn't say the key to having better self-esteem, because none of these things we say, except Jesus, are going to be like a fix to your self-esteem issues.
But I think that
Like-
might just be band-aids.
Yeah.
They're not going to be permanent.
It's like
You
temporary.
should still strive
You should
to
try
surround
these.
yourself with uplifting people, of course. Just because it's not a permanent fix
Yeah.
doesn't mean don't do it, because it's actually really good for you if you combine it with,
Yeah, and we're kind of, as they say, jumping the gun.
Yeah, a
Let's
little
see
bit.
what that looks like. We're kind of jumping the gun a little bit too early here. But that kind of leads into one of the later points about how we can't fix our own issues when we are the problem, when we are the source of those issues. It takes an outside source that, created us and has a master plan for us. And we'll talk more about that in our fourth point, because third point's the world. Does anybody else have anything about community?
Again, like we said, our community is our strongest point that we have.
Yeah.
If, like in sociology, they're called institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Social institution.
Where you're
first one-
socialized.
Your first one you're in is your family. That's the first one you're into.
Mhm.
And then you're into your peer group and so on, so on. And so it's important to make sure those groups are stable as best as you can. Family sometimes can't be as stable because you're born into it. But to find those peer groups that are stable and to find those friends that are stable is very important. And I feel like I know at our church, we have probably one of the more stable social institutions at
Yeah.
our church. And
Yeah, you should at least have one social institution.
You should have at least one. Like, we go to Monday nights, and I guess this counts as a social. Like, no
This
dream.
also counts as
Yeah.
No dream counts
If you
too.
don't have like a good family social institution, like find a church, find a good group of friends or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, you shouldn't just be living your life without anything.
yeah. Like we talked about loneliness in the last podcast. Life isn't meant to be lived alone.
Yeah.
So unless you have to, don't.
yeah.
I mean, there's a reason other people are here. God could have put you on your own planet.
Yeah.
Um,
He didn't fill us. He didn't
yeah.
fill the planet with tons of people just to be alone. Yeah, that would make no sense.
That's a good point.
That makes sense.
yeah. All right. So on to the third point. What does the world say defines who you are? What you do, your heritage, money. What do you guys think?
So, like, I wrote this down earlier.
Mhm.
Society focuses on self so much, but people feel so worthless and alone. How can we live in a society that preaches self, yet feels so worthless? There's a disconnect in between that, and that can only be filled by one thing.
Hmm?
That's Jesus.
Jesus.
Like, if this society tells us
Yeah.
we can feel our own needs. If there's something out there, you can go get it by yourself.
Yeah.
Or that you just have to be pretty enough. You have to be good looking enough.
Mhm.
In other words, the world kind of changing around to be like, you don't have to be all these things, but you have to be perfect in ways that are imperfect.
Yeah. We get this, as I wrote down in my notes, we get this warped impression of who we are from the world, and the world doesn't really know, let's be honest here, the world doesn't know what true worth is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the world doesn't, it's jacked up enough. Like, all the abortion things that are going on, and that's another podcast too, but all this stuff that's going, the world is messed up, and you're getting your views of your worth from a broken system. And you're looking for this perfect image of who you want to be, and you're trying to become that person, but you're getting all your cues and you're getting the method of how to become that person from a system that doesn't even know how to help you become that person.
Yeah.
And it's completely futile. And I also wrote down, we live in a world where a certain image is valued, and we chase this god of beauty, as I like to call it, an appearance when it has no real substance. And America, I mean, you guys can attest to this, but America has like this focus on beauty and imagery, and if you don't look a certain way, then you can't be big and famous or do big things because you have to uphold a certain image. And I know that was a big part of your testimony in middle school, Kobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say something about it.
Let me think about. Yeah, I guess like in middle school, I did have like a lot of troubles with like self-image because I was like chubbier and all that. You know, like whenever you're in middle school, you go through that the chubby stage. And,
I
like,
never did.
No, I
probably
didn't
not you.
either.
Yeah, you just eat everything. Never.
We stayed.
Yeah, well, I was chubby when I was in middle school. I'm getting chubby now, but
Not anymore.
yeah.
Look at it, boy.
Then like in high school, like when I came back, they're like, "Dang, what happened to you, Kobe?" I was like, "I don't know."
That boy was swole.
I guess like in middle school, I was really trying to be like everybody else. Then I got homeschooled. I guess that kind of helped me in the end because I like was by myself and I like focused on just like me and not worrying about what other people thought of me. So
Yeah, you said you just started doing like push-ups and stuff.
yeah, I did.
Like that's all it takes. Let me go ahead and put in the work. Jonathan, you got anything?
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as the worldview goes, I mean, a big thing is they're always like, it's always obsessed with what are you accomplishing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you working
Works.
towards? Is
Yeah.
what defines you often. Like, yeah, is what I think.
Oh,
then,
and real
like-
quick before you get to your point.
Well, I was just
But we're
gonna
talking
add
about the
on to
world.
his-
Oh, go ahead.
We're talking
Yeah,
about
we're talking about the world.
The world.
Yeah.
Alright.
So,
I was just gonna add on to his. real
After you
quick.
say something, I'll say something.
It was like,
So
so
you go then. After him.
as you were saying, you keep making these goals
Yeah.
that the world tells you have to achieve.
Right.
But then you achieve one and it's not enough. You
Yeah.
achieve another, it's not enough.
It's not
You
gonna
achieve
tell you
another
enough.
and it's not enough. And it's like you get to this point where you've built it up. It's like I felt like I was supposed to be at this point, and now that I'm here, I feel worse than I have. So, in NF's album, The Search, he has this interlude where he's talking. It's like, my song was #1 on the Billboard, and this, that, and the other. And as he's talking, he's like, I had everything I wanted, or what I was trying to achieve, and I feel so low. Like, he's like, if this is where life is, then there's got to be more.
Right.
Yeah. And so,
And then another thing is, everyone values people differently. Everyone seeks different values in everyone. So if you're just trying to please the people around you all the time, like people who, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. Okay, at the end of the day, like what you're trying to please God in what you do.
Yeah.
You're just trying to So you don't need to worry about what all other people say. Oh, you need to do this. You need to do that. This is what makes you a better person. This is what makes you better in my eyes. No, you need to focus on what God says. Makes you better in His eyes.
to be vulnerable right now, like, I struggle with people pleasing.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make people around me super happy and to always be happy.
I think I used to struggle with that too. Then I kind of got like really tired of it. I was like, you know what? Why am I doing that?
Yeah, there's a point where you just stop caring.
Because it's super tiring, because
That's another thing that helps.
you can't
You're
fulfill
not
that
being,
role.
yeah, you're not being yourself or who you are. Just be
Just
yourself.
don't care. I mean, it's good to like care about your image and all that.
Yeah.
But don't care to the point where you go out your way to stop being
Yeah.
who you are.
Yeah.
No,
Since we're talking about the world, like one of the things I guess like kind of relate to the world. You know, like whenever you're like playing a video game, if you're trying to like unlock the characters, you're like, you know what, this is fun. You're like unlocking each one. And then once you get every single character unlocked, you like stop playing the game because you're bored of playing the game. And like you know, like the fun's out of it once you unlock every single thing.
Or
It's
if
like-
you've done everything.
Yeah, so like in the world, like once you get all this money, you get all the things you want. Like what's left?
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna be fulfilled. Like I'm probably gonna mess this up. Like in the Bible, you know, like when Jesus was talking to that lady, like at the well or something, and like she asked for some everlasting water, and God was talking about how He had water that was
He's like,
everlasting.
I can give you so much more.
Yeah, that's the water that we need to drink from because we're never gonna be filled up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because God's
We're
gonna
going to
be
talk about in the fourth
yeah.
point, too.
Yeah.
I have something real quick, and then... Also, no, I can go ahead, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, you know, if you look at rappers, like, these days, like, this is actually a record label, like I mentioned every single podcast, if you guys don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, actually, my boy X... Yeah, I'll say that for the end of the podcast.
No, go.
No. We'll save it. We'll save it as a
okay.
surprise announcement.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at rappers, like, of today, right? They have these music videos where it's, like, people throwing money around, girls, like, half
Behind
naked.
Lamborghinis.
Yeah,
and
girls are
mansions and
naked,
everything.
like, everywhere. And you're looking at that and you're going, wow,
That's
I'm not successful. You really... And I guess that goes through the point of how in America, where it's known as, like, the place where you can go to, like, become an entrepreneur and make your dreams come true with work. Some of us feel like we can work our way into heaven. And this is, like, literally my favorite passage from the book of Job. It's Job 35. And I'm just going to go 1 through 8. And basically at this point, if you don't know the story of Job, he goes through all this stuff, basically as a test, and all his body gets afflicted, and there's boils and sores, and his family gets killed, and he loses all this in like less than the span of a couple hours, and he's been in mourning, and he starts to get kind of this self-righteous attitude. He's like, hey, I don't deserve this. I haven't done anything. And then basically Elihu, this younger guy, God starts speaking through him, and he says, verse 2, do you think this is just? You say, I will be cleared by God, yet you ask him, what profit is it to me, and what do I gain by not sinning? I would like to reply to you and to your friends with you. Look up at the heavens and see. Gaze at the clouds so high above you. If you sin, how does that affect him? If your sins are many, what does that do to him? If you are righteous, what do you give to him? Or what does he receive from your hand? Your wickedness affects only a man like yourself. Your righteousness only the sons of men. And we go and we try to work our way into heaven. And this verse right here is saying, if you're righteous, what do you give to him? Or what does he receive from your hand? Like, so don't go thinking that just because you do something righteous, you're going to get into heaven. That's literally not how it works, because we cannot work our way into heaven. We're physically incapable of that. Go ahead.
In James, it talks about, I can't remember the chapter, I can't remember the verses, and it's annoying me, but it's talking about faith without works
is dead.
And works without faith is dead as well.
Yeah, that's basically that. So on to arguably, not even arguably, the most important part.
Yeah.
Jesus,
the part
right?
We've been bringing up this whole time.
Yeah.
We've been building up.
We probably should have started with the whole Jesus approach.
I don't know if we should have started with it, because I think this is like the good ending.
Important. Yeah, this
like
is.
At the end of the day, this is, if you want to take anything away, this is probably
This is it. You can pick this up, take it with you wherever you want.
Right.
All right. So.
Oh, we're ending.
No,
not
yet.
We're just getting to the main
All right.
point.
So who does Jesus say you are? The most important part. The Son of God. Well, not say he is. Oh.
Sons and daughters.
Children of God.
Child of God, yeah. So, we're children of God. So that means...
That means...
Okay, that we're all precious to God, so we should see value in
not all of us watch
ourselves because of
VeggieTales like you.
that. What do you mean, VeggieTales?
I watch VeggieTales, yeah.
Okay.
So there's tons of like verses we could go to talk about who Jesus says we are. Like literally all of our worship songs that we listen to, they're usually it's literally us singing about how Christ is worthy of his name. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. That's the song we're gonna sing in Revelation when we get to heaven anyway.
Yeah, honestly, I need to be paying attention to I just sing the song.
Oh, the lyrics.
I don't even pay attention to.
I'm telling you, the lyrics are so powerful.
Yeah,
like
people
I need to be better at that.
Recognize what you're saying.
Yeah.
And recognize the weight of what you're saying is
like
so
I said, they're
important.
staring at the words the whole time, but somehow I forget what it actually says.
But that's another podcast, guys.
Not bad.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well,
It's good that we talk about that.
I mean, that goes in because
Yeah.
you have to know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes along with the whole self-esteem thing. If you're singing songs that fill you with worldly values that you're trying to place to get to this self-achievement, right?
Mm-hmm.
But those words are also materialistic and worthless.
And I want you guys to understand why this is like so important. And I'm pretty sure most of you already do, judging by how many of you voted for this. But until you know who you are, you won't know the difference you can make. So if you plan on impacting the world or making any sort of difference, first you have to know who you are and how God is able to use you.
Mm-hmm.
And in a sec, we'll get to the people who aren't Christians and who don't believe the same way we do. But
and then we'll touch on some major biblical figures that struggle with the same thing.
well, I think we should probably go and touch on those.
Well, I mean, I think if we touch on the non-believers and then relate that back to them.
Okay, that
and
works.
how the struggles were kind of the same.
So we're gonna go into how would we explain this to people who don't
Yeah,
believe?
how would you explain it to it? But real quick, before we jump into that, because we were talking about like the music and stuff and like lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
So in Holby's song Anchor, there's a line that says, "Even though I feel worthless, you say I'm worth it." And like that line to me was so weighty. Cause it's like,
Wait.
when I feel at my lowest, when I feel like I'm nothing, and that also goes with Reckless Love, when it says, you leave the 99 and come after me, which is the one. Like, that kind of, like, devotion and that kind of love for somebody, like...
To be honest, I never even knew what that meant.
What?
What?
Yeah,
The parable of the 99 sheep?
Yeah,
I
to come
didn't.
after the one. And so,
Like,
it's
you know
so
what?
weighty
I did not know
that
what that meant.
we have a God that comes after us regardless of where we're at.
And that shows you're worth it.
And that he wants to be there for us no matter what we think we are, who we think we are, because he created us in his image. All right.
Yeah.
So, and now we can move on. Had to go on my little...
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
You
it
showed
was a
box
good
again.
little. You tied it up with a nice little bow right there.
Yeah.
Then you kissed it and put a sticker on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you
say-
slap-
To
Wait
the
till
world.
Christmas.
What?
Go ahead.
I thought it was onto the biblical fit. No.
Yeah, we're talking about somebody who
All
doesn't
right.
believe.
So, the way I explained it, right?
Happy Christmas.
We were sitting in Chick-fil-A planning this out. And Kyle was like, so, J.O., how would you explain worth to somebody, or that you're worth it to God to somebody who's not a believer, who doesn't believe in God? And I basically explained it this way. It was art, right? So basically, we're all pieces of art. And imagine you have a piece of art and it's at an auction or at some kind of sale. And the creator paints it and then he puts it out there. Maybe abstract, like a couple lines on, like, I don't see how those things are worth millions of dollars.
Me neither. Never got that.
But maybe it'll be like a single line on the canvas. And then people will assign a price to that. Like, some will say it's worth like $1 million. Others will say like it's worth $5. But no matter what, people assign a value to. And the Bible, this is actually kind of accurate because, you know, it all talks about we are masterpieces, works of art, created in Christ Jesus to do things that he set for us. So we are those pieces of art. You know, God creates us, you know, he paints us, we go out, and then people assign value to you based on your looks or how you look on the outside or how you appear to them based off your social interactions, based
how
off...
much wealth you have.
Yes.
How much status you have.
Yeah, when that's not your true value, like, to the world, you may seem like worth, like, somebody may see your value at like 5 cents, but to the person, I promise you, like, some of the songs that I put out when I eventually do get to it, you guys may not, actually, yeah, you guys may not like see the value in it, but to me, those songs mean like a whole lot because I'm literally putting my pain, like, I'm putting it into word form and like hoping that you guys will like connect with me and resonate with me on that and hoping that you guys feel the same. And that's all anybody really wants is to connect with other people. So it's super hard. This is going back to the very, very first point, but it's so hard to believe that you're worth something. It's so hard to believe that you're worth something when you live, like we talked about before, in a system that constantly degrades you and tells you that you're not enough. And since we're on like who Jesus talks about, like who we are, there's literally no way that you can have access to the kind of confidence that we're going to be talking about if you don't believe in God, because, you know, scripture talks about building your life on sand, you know, instead of rock. And Christ is this rock that we can fall back onto. And when we don't build our lives on that, when we get knocked down by people like disrespecting us and, you know, underestimating our self-worth and all these things that are coming at us, there's nowhere to land. No, I don't.
To close up your... Going back to your art thing, 'cause you don't really finish it up.
No.
But I knew where you're going with it. God is the creator.
Yep.
No matter what people say the art he's made is worth,
Mm-hmm.
to him it is priceless. To him it is worth every bit of detail he's put into it. That means you are worth every bit of detail he's put in.
Very
because
cool.
you were created in his image. He saw.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
He saw you before you were even thought of, and was like, "This is my handwork. This is mine.
Masterpiece.
Yeah.
Mwah.
This
10 out of
is
10.
What I've worked for so long, and I love it."
You're
I
made
got
for
some.
his
anything.
image.
I got some.
All right, Kobe.
You know, like whenever like your parents, like whenever they like tell you like you're good at something, you be like, you're like really good at that, son. You be like, Mom, you're just telling me that because I'm your son.
Yeah.
But like they like know the true worth of you because they created you. So like they would know. Why are you gonna let somebody else who like you don't even know tell you that you suck when you just worked hard at it?
Yeah.
Like that's one of the things I struggle with. Like my parents, they'd be like, Kobe, you're good at that. They'd be like, you know what? I don't believe y'all. You're just telling me that because you know you're my parents. But like I think we should like really like listen to the people that truly knows us.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely God at the top, but like
Yeah.
our parents too, and like our friends that are close, instead of believing the people who we don't know and let that opinion affect us.
That's big, bro.
Yeah.
So,
You
I
got.
was,
Go ahead.
I was kind of eavesdropping Thursday night. I was up at my work, but I was eating, and
Oh yeah, Thursday.
So
those days.
Jake Fromm's parents
Mhm.
typically eat at where I work, and so they were talking. Miss Lee Emerson, she was talking about how she was nervous because Jake is in the combine this year, and how on social media there was just people like bagging on Jake and like just being mean, because I mean people are mean.
Yeah. The
And,
more
like,
you get something, the more people are gonna come after you.
exactly, and so they were just like not trying to get caught up in it all, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, you have to put the trust in the Lord when it comes to other people trying to bag on you. And so just making sure they find that confidence and that worth in God rather than the worth of what other people say you are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to choose a word for like the year, like you guys. It's a tradition around our church.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of this year, I didn't have. I had a couple words that I wanted to choose, and some of them are like names of songs that I wrote, so I won't like say them here. But like one that I was really stuck on was worthy, because I always like wanted. I've always felt like the path set before me is like one that's like way higher than what I'm ever able to do. And like I've always wanted to strive to be worthy of my calling. Like I want to be worthy of like the responsibility Christ is like given to me and placed in my life. Like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to be worthy of the gifts that God's given me. So if you feel like you're worthless, maybe it's because you're not using the gifts and abilities that God's given you to help anybody else. Like if you're always focused on yourself, no wonder you're down in your feelings, because you can't solve your problems once again.
Yeah.
You can't help yourself solve the problem. So
I think this is a
That's
good
weird that
point
we're talking about this, because that's like the exact stuff I struggle with. So I should actually be like using this, It's kind of weird that we're talking about this.
hey bro, I need this too, so
I know, yeah.
I think this is a good time to transition to like the biblical figures.
yeah.
And how they've struggled with self-worth and trusting in God.
I know.
So first we're going to talk about
Let's talk about Moses, guys.
yeah.
All right. So
Moses.
Moses, right?
Yeah. Jonathan, you want to go ahead and start?
Do you want me to start Moses off?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, so our major example for Moses was how God told him to go to the Pharaoh and demand for his people to be let go, of course. And then he thought that he wasn't a good enough speaker, and he didn't trust in God that God was going to give him the ability to carry out God's will. So instead, he missed his opportunity, which would have been a great blessing, and Aaron took his place as far as speaking to Pharaoh goes. Yeah.
And so Moses really let his ability and what he saw his failures in himself and his inadequacies, and let that take over as his inability to be able to speak.
Didn't that end up becoming the reason why he died so early?
Yeah.
Because didn't he like he got angry and struck the rock when, God told him
to build a new one or something.
No, God told him he told him to like tap the rock and the water would come out, but instead Moses got angry and he struck it.
I don't remember that.
That's not how he died.
No, it's not how he died, but like because of that his life was shortened.
Yeah.
Or was that a different?
What's that?
I think
I'm
you're
pretty
right,
sure that was Moses.
I'm
but-
not sure.
but let's not
Possibly
like
right.
it's possibly right.
Yeah.
He
We should
died
look in-
because
we should look
of
into that,
the
but
Israelites.
Your mom might know that.
Yeah.
Or,
Well, probably.
Well,
because of
yeah.
what they did.
Yeah, what they did, and so
He
he
died
died,
in the
and then
desert.
Joshua took his place.
Never went. And never got to the promised land.
And like jitterly. What? I can't. Where's it?
Generally.
Literally, Joshua 1:9 talks about be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or dismayed. The Lord your God is with you wherever you go. So as soon as Joshua came into place, God said, "Get those self-esteem issues out of here. I'm with you wherever you go. Be strong and courageous."
And so, me and Mr. Gary Akins are doing a study in Joshua right now. Every week we go over a chapter or two. And so as we were looking through it, literally the main theme is to be strong and courageous in the Lord.
Yeah.
That He is your identity. He is what you find strength and renewal in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not out of us, because as we were reading, the Israelites would mess up and there would be consequences for it because they're following what they believe to be correct.
Yeah.
instead of relying on like the biggest power source that they have.
All right. So next biblical figure.
Okay, next we have Joseph written down, and I'm not sure I caught why we wrote him down. So if someone else.
Joseph's Mary's husband, right?
Okay, that Joseph.
Yeah,
Okay.
you brought that up, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Kyle, what was your point about
So
that?
the reason I picked Joseph is because he kind of gets overlooked in the Bible a little bit,
Yeah.
but he's a very influential figure. I was about to say figure, and so it's hard for us to like think as somebody who is close to Jesus. No, with a P.
If you caught that joke, leave it in the comments.
No.
Everyone, wipe your forehead right now.
No.
Flick the sweat
Close
off.
one.
That was a close one.
Jinkies.
Anti-way.
Yeah, go back.
Joseph had some struggles. It's like, so Mary is having Jesus, right?
Yeah.
And so in their society, in their culture, that's not Joseph's son in the first place.
Yeah.
So for Joseph to let other people's opinions possibly to affect him was big. And then for him not to. For him to put that trust and that faith in the Lord.
It's a good example of trusting God instead of
That-
self-trust.
Mm-hmm.
Self-trust was out the window.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm putting my reputation on the line. I'm putting what I own and what I have on the line, because that could be stripped away in that kind of society.
Mm-hmm.
And like, everything you have, you won't be making money because people see you as this kind of person.
Yeah.
And so to put that all out on God,
You know, we
showed
kinda-
how much faith and
we kind of
trust that
understand that
is.
kind of stuff now because people like downcast people, if that's even a word, about like not having a baby that's yours, but like back then they like be stoning people and stuff. So
Yeah, I
I'd
think
say
it's a
that's
little
even-
bit less
I'd
extreme.
say that's even
It's-
harder. Yeah. I don't know.
And guys, remember, the big overarching theme, I feel, at least with this, is with self-worth in general, is that it's not up to you to be worthy. At least I feel the big overarching theme for this is, it's not up to you to be enough for yourself. It's not up to you to be worthy, because as humans, we're always going to want to improve, be better than the next person, strive for more. It's, Scripture literally says He's made our righteousness. Like the whole point of the gospel is, we can't make it on our own. We're not good enough. And that is depressing. That is kind of sad.
Right.
Until you realize.
Pride comes before the fall.
Yeah,
So if you take too much pride in who you are and
Yeah.
what you do and
The pride of
and
life,
God,
all that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna fall.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it is kind of, you're like, I don't want to rely on myself. It's.
Yeah.
And when I'm not enough, you get kind of mad about that. But you guys don't. There's this God that's all powerful, and He wants the best for you, and He's in your corner, and He's fighting for you every day, and it's all a conscious decision to choose day to day not to trust yourself or for how you look, or trust yourself for how your friends view you, but it's a daily decision to trust God and what He has to say in His Word. But anyway, next biblical figure, because we gotta move
Okay,
on.
next we had written down. This one was controversial. We
Okay.
were having a conversation about this one before, but
Alright.
Jonah.
Jonah. Yeah,
Oh,
we
Miss
did.
Angela said something.
Yeah, it got a little controversial, but I think everyone in here, our group was on the same page with
Yeah.
that. So.
We said Jonah because he chose to run away from his calling.
Yeah.
And I feel like one of the main reasons that he did that was because he was like, hey, if I go to Nineveh, they're going to kill me. Like, that's a wicked city right there. They're going to kill me. Jonah didn't trust enough in God that, he would give him the words to say, or that He would protect him when he went there. So he ran literally the opposite direction. I know all of us were on the same page about Jonah having self-esteem problems.
And
and
didn't he like
not
go in the
trusting God.
opposite direction in Nineveh or something?
Yeah, like he went.
It's like
Tarshish.
if you're going in the
Tarshish,
if you're going in the
baby.
opposite direction in Nineveh, like there's some reason behind.
You scared.
Yeah, you might just go the
It's a
opposite
little
way.
scary, huh?
All right, next one, because we got to hit on these Bible characters quick.
All right, next one is. I think this is the biggest one.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah, David.
David, right?
He was like on the side of trusting God instead of self-trust.
Yeah.
He's a great example.
He's a great example to trust God and to leave every self behind.
Yeah.
And why would you say that, Kyle?
What? Say what?
That he's a big example of trusting God over, trusting yourself and your abilities.
Okay, so we're gonna mainly focus on like the younger days of David,
Yeah.
instead of a little bit of the older days when.
Bathsheba.
Bathsheba.
But so David put a lot of his trust in God and put a lot of confidence in God, and so David instead of letting himself and what other people said he had to be or could be, not let it get in the way. So his brothers were at war, and they were fighting the Philistines. And there was this big guy, as we all know, Goliath.
Big old dude.
Big old, big old G.
His name.
His name was Goliath, but we'll call him Big G.
You were gonna call him Big G, but anyway. So his brothers were in the army, but everyone was scared to fight Goliath, and so David's dad told David, "Go give your brothers some food and some bread." So as he went, he saw all the guys not wanting to stand up against Goliath.
Yeah.
But what he heard Goliath saying was so bad about God. And so David, I wouldn't say he became furious, but he got very angry when it came to how Goliath was talking about the
He was
Lord.
angry at Goliath, and then the soldiers on his side as well, of course, because no one was standing up for God.
And then, so as he delivers the bread, his brothers are like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Dad told me to drop off the bread." But what are you guys doing?
Brought the bread.
There's somebody who's claiming the Lord.
Yeah.
And so David wants to fight Goliath.
He's just claiming the worthiness of our God.
And so everyone's like, "David, fight Goliath." Yeah, right. Because David is this like 12, 13-year-old kid who's like short and small.
Like me.
And so people just made him for his age,
I'm fine.
for his size, for his looks.
So,
But David proved them wrong because he put so much trust and
he
faith
beat
in
Big
the
G.
Lord. With what? What did he beat him with? Kobe.
A stone, then his own sword.
Some smooth stones.
He cut Big G's head off with his own
Picked
sword.
up some stones, put it in a slingshot, hit
And a
Goliath.
rope with a pocket in it, and then threw
He hit Goliath in
He
the
could have
head.
used hands.
Then he took Goliath's sword and chopped off his head.
Yeah, yeet.
And this is a major contrast to older David, right? Well, I wouldn't say older David, but
David.
when
David.
when he was fleeing from like Saul and all that, because just how he had that unwavering trust. You know, he also wrote many psalms where he talks about, you know, God, why have you forsaken me? Why have you turned your back on me? He talks about all these different things, and you know, one of my favorite psalms, I think it's like the most famous one is Psalms 91, and this is like an example of his trust in God, and this is the confidence we want you guys to have. He says, "I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge," and this is Psalm 91 too, "and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler snare, which is the devil. He will cover you with His wings, and you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield. You will not fear the night, or the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks the darkness, or the plague that destroys. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right, but it will not come near you." That's kind of fine, guys. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. And it goes on and on, making the refuge of the Most High your safe place. And he talks about He will command His angels. You know how many angels there are? Like, He's commanding an entire army to protect you and guard you in all your ways. You know, and that's
When you have that kind of confidence, and you see just like a measly giant, you're like, man, get out my way.
how could you not want to know that that's backing you? Like, how?
Have a God that big.
Yeah.
Another good thing I
shouldn't
think
be worried
about
about
David
anything.
is
And they don't-
no matter how low David got,
Yeah.
he always knew to go back to God at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
Man, I figured
Because
that
sometimes, you know, when you have too much self-esteem, your pride can get in the way of
Oh, yeah.
reaching out for help, whether it be God or other people. Preferably God, of course.
Yeah.
Is the first person you want to reach out to, or first being, entity. Yeah. Anyway, and so his ability to always, you know, admit, all right, I was wrong, and be shameless about it. And be like, well, not shameless, that's not the word,
Shame.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
experience shame, and then be like, all right, God, what do I need to do? What's happening?
Yeah.
All right.
That's good. Yeah.
Number 4. Next biblical figure.
This is number 5.
Quattro. That's like a YouTube
This is
channel.
number 5.
Number 5. Number
Yeah.
5.
Okay.
Because we did Moses,
Jonah, David,
David.
All right. So
and those were the big underlined ones. So I think
so
those are the
finally,
main
I think we
ones.
should go to Jesus, right?
You
Yeah.
want to just yeah.
So if we're gonna put our trust in Jesus day to day for who our identity, right? Like if we're gonna say, okay, my identity isn't based in myself or what the world teaches, it's based on Christ. So first we have to know what Christ said about Himself. traditionally that he talks about he's the Messiah, the Son of God. And there's this interesting story that I was listening to this morning. You probably were told it, so you don't get lost at church or anything. But when Jesus was like super young, he ended up getting lost in church. What was it? Luke 2:45 through 52. But he gets lost. Well, I wouldn't say lost, but because he knew he was staying. He stayed behind.
Luke 2:41.
45. I don't know.
Something
But
like that.
his mom goes to find him, right? And they come all the way back, and they find Jesus. Oh, go ahead.
Well, a little bit more backstory.
Oh yeah, it was the feast, a big
They
Passover
were
feast.
going to Jerusalem for like kind of a census, and Passover was coming soon.
Yeah.
So they went to Jerusalem. No, what was it? Jerusalem?
Pretty sure.
And
I would assume so.
So they were there, and Jesus was in the temple. He's about 12 years old, and so Jesus stays in the temple, teaching the people there.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary's like, Joseph, where's Jesus? Where's my child?
Yeah.
They're on the way back by this point.
Yeah, they're on the way
It's
back.
been like a few days.
Yeah.
They've been traveling back.
And so now you have to think about it. They have to travel all the way back
Mm-hmm.
that same amount of days just to go get Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
So my boy Yeshu, he's been in the temple, and Scripture literally says he's been, teaching them concerning the things about himself, which means basically he was reading them like his biography, like the stuff about himself, like the prophecies and all that, and he's saying, I am this person. Another example of how Jesus trusted his Father over relying on his flesh, because we know he was fully God, fully human, but over relying on his flesh was the example of Jesus being tempted by Satan in the wilderness, the days of testing he underwent. So Kyle has that.
So
go ahead and read
Matthew
you.
4, starting in verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the desert to be tempted by the devil. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. The tempter came to him and said, If you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread. Jesus answered, It is written, Man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. Then the devil took him to the holy city and made him stand on the highest point of the temple. If you are the Son of God, he said, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. Jesus answered him, It is also written, Do not put the Lord your God to the test. Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. All this I will give you, he said, if you will bow down and worship me. Jesus said to him, Away from me, Satan, for it is written, Worship the Lord your God and serve him only. And then in verse 11, Then the devil left him, and the angels came and attended to him. That's it.
All right.
So Jesus' self-confidence. He had enough self-confidence to rebuke the devil. And I think, too...
That kind of goes along with, like, using the scripture as our weapon. Kind of
Yeah.
like what your mom's been talking about a lot. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going through something, you should, like, really... I need to work on that, too.
And, like, make sure, like you said, make sure you read the Bible, because it has tons of good stuff reaffirming who you are in Christ.
Yeah.
Like, it literally tells you, you were chosen. God loved you before the time you were born. He knew you when you were in your mother's room. Literally, Isaiah 40 talks about, that famous verse, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you. We know we have a God that cares for us. You just gotta make sure you stay in the Bible.
Yeah,
literally.
every day when you're, like, in the world. Like, I guess, like, because we're always going to sing because we're humans. It's like a daily test. Like, if you're not going to be prepared and you don't study, just like you go to class and take a test, you're not going to know the answers to it. So you should, like, study the word. That's your study guide. Yeah.
In Ephesians, I know my mom talks about it a lot, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
But she was talking about the full armor of God as well. And it talks about, him shooting like these fiery darts at you. And, that can be like arrows that can take down your self-esteem or different things like that. And the best way to defend that is the sword of spirit, the shield of faith, all that. And if you guys don't know what that is,
Breastplate of righteousness. Helmet of salvation.
Bible Man.
Belt.
Basically, Bible Man. Go watch episode 1.
Belt of truth.
I've seen the Bible.
Bible Man. Man, that was my show. But I think there's two. Well, we'll ask one question first, right? I think we should ask, what lie has the world told you, and that's formed your self-esteem? And if you guys want, you can leave these answers down in the comments. I want you guys to wait before you type out an answer to this, because there's definitely a second part to this question. So what lie has the world told you that has formed your self-esteem? And 2, what truth, not lie, what truth has God told you? And what worth has he told us that we have? Because remember, truth doesn't change. It's unchanging. So these words that God has said about who we are, they're set in stone. And like once again, I always said, we only have access to this power, this confidence, if you're in Christ. Scripture talks about we are crucified with Christ and we no longer live, but he lives in us. So these facts are solid, but you only have access to this level of confidence if you're in Christ, like we already said. So what lie has the world told you that has formed your self-esteem? And I guess we can each personally answer these and then close off. So what lie has the world told you that's formed your self-esteem? And then what truth has God told you? And what worth has he told us that we have? So I guess I'll start off. What lie has the world told me? I don't know. I think there's one major lie, and like every other bit is like a subdivision of it.
Yeah.
I think the one major lie is appearance, because Scripture says we live by faith and not by sight for a reason, right? Because so many people have been living by sight, and if everything's based off appearance and the things that we see in our senses, I think it's all based off appearance. Like you don't look good enough, or you're not strong enough. The things that you do are never good enough. So the one major lie is that you don't look good enough. To me, everything's pretty much about appearance in this world. So that you don't look good enough is the one major lie that has formed my self-esteem. And in contrast, that is very different to how I am now. Because when I was younger, I used to hate how I looked. Like I didn't want to stare in the mirror. Like I wouldn't look in the mirror at all. And I would if I was walking by a mirror, I would literally turn my head to avoid it because I hated seeing how I looked. But Scripture has told me I'm chosen. I'm made in the image of Christ. And besides, at some point you kind of get over it. I was like, hey, I was born in this body. Might as well make the best of it, right? So, if I was formed in the image of the Creator, in the image of God, I have literally nothing to be ashamed of. And if you're made in the same image, in the same Creator, you have nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, there's no if you were.
You have nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
And Kobe talked about this before, about bullying and all that. And that's usually a reflection on people. People who bully others usually have low self-esteem, right?
Definitely.
Like them imposing their will on others and picking on them about certain qualities they have is... Because you hear it and people joke about it, like they're like, okay, you bully people because you're insecure. But it's so true. Like you're taking all the pain from that you're dealing with internally from not being enough, and you're putting it onto somebody else. And you're not worried about the pain going to somebody else or inflicting it on somebody else, because as long as it's off you, you're good. So that's something completely different. So once again, I'll restate the question so you guys can answer. What lie has the world told you that's formed your self-esteem? And what has God told you? In contrast, what truth has God told you? And what worth do we have?
I guess I'll go next.
Mm-hmm.
The lie the world has told me is probably that success equals happiness.
Oh yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
So for me, it's like having a nice car, having a big house, having everything I could possibly want will make me happy. And then after doing some chasing after that, personally, and then seeing people who do that, they end up so much more loneliness and sadness and bitterness and anger, because like I chase after this and this is still not what makes me happy.
Yeah.
And probably the truth God has told me is that I'm valuable beyond measure.
Yeah.
He has came and sought for me time and time again and has found nothing but value and worth, and that he has chosen me to have a called purpose and to influence people as he speaks through me. To be a chosen vessel, that is like so big to me.
Yeah. All right, Jonathan.
No.
Oh, my bad, Cody.
You want to go?
Yeah. Damn, what was I gonna say?
Wow.
I'll go if you can't think of it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I guess the main lie the world has told me, well, it's a lie I told myself probably more than anyone else. I don't think anyone's ever told me this, but of course, a lot of our insecurities do come from within our human nature.
Yeah.
And we are born of the world, so,
Yeah.
But is that I'm not good enough for others.
Yeah.
That is a really major
You mean from like a
Amen,
romance
bro.
standpoint,
Preach, bro.
You mean
That
from
is-
like a romance standpoint,
Or just in general.
in general, like relationships.
Oh yeah,
Just like
That's big.
friends, girls, whatever.
yeah.
That's big.
All, yeah.
Yeah. Romance is
yeah.
actually my main
There's
one. But
there's
go ahead.
times when you feel you fall short or of like other people, like you don't deserve to be their friend maybe sometimes or something like that.
Yeah.
And you get that feeling because maybe you read too far into like their body language or how they act around you, when really what we should be doing is just be ourselves, because God created us, of course, and he created us to be unique and to use our uniqueness to spread his word and to be a light unto others. So don't feel like you're not worthy of others time or talking to them just because you feel based off of their body language that they don't think you are worthy of it.
Because, kind of add on to your point, sometimes people just need another person to be there for them.
Yeah.
Because they're also hurting. And to share that same empathy with another person because they're hurting
Yeah.
is so important, regardless of how they act towards you. But to know that you're there for somebody is big, and vice versa. And like having somebody there for you is big.
Yeah.
All right, Kobe.
Did you think of it?
Actually, it's time to just kidding.
Oh, dang.
Go ahead.
Our
No.
podcast over.
That was mine. I guess the lie the world told me was like, if you have a 6-pack, then every girl's gonna like you.
That's not how it works.
No. See, that's what I was thinking.
What?
The world's been lying, bro.
Man, the world need to shut up.
I mean,
The world's still lying
Yeah.
to me.
Like the
Dang.
world told me like,
Be
Be
quiet.
serious, yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah, like the world told me like if you have a 6-pack, girls like you. If you can make them laugh. If you're in movies, if you have a lot of money.
I don't
if you're,
have a
If you're
6-pack.
smart. I guess like that's kind of the things I used to believe. Like I used to believe like when I was younger, like nope, I can't like any girls now because they're not gonna like me because I ain't got no 6-pack. So
I ain't got no six. But
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right, so what's
Like,
I know, but you do now though. So
No, I definitely don't.
What does God say that
What does
counteracts
What
that?
does God say?
Objection.
what's the truth, bro?
What's the objection?
yeah.
I don't really know if it like says that specifically, but I know God says that we're precious in His eyes and that we're, that we're created in His image, kind of like what James said.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't be ashamed of the way we look. We should just like be who we are and find the person that likes who we are.
Yeah.
Very cool. indeed.
Baller. Great.
Mm.
Haha.
I think we're
Alright,
this is coming to an end, right?
Yeah, sorry guys, this one was a little bit on the long side, but there was a lot to unpack here, and we still haven't even like scratched the surface.
Yeah,
like
we can keep talking about it. It's pretty
Yeah.
interesting actually.
there is there's a lot more we can talk about actually.
If you guys
So-
want a part 2 to this one, leave it in the comments.
Yeah. And also, remember all these surface level insecurities about our appearances and stuff like that. It's all a result of a deeper underlying problem. So let's talk it in the comments. Yes, it's the internet, but this is like a safe space for you guys. So if you guys want to hit me up ever, do it. Because I'm going to listen. I'll try to at least.
Any of us, yeah.
Being
Well, I don't want to speak for everybody, but me too.
Yeah, me too.
being vulnerable is so important
Yeah.
because when you're vulnerable, people don't shy away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They relate.
They're drawn to
You're
you.
like a door, you know? If you're closed, how's somebody gonna walk through you?
Exactly.
But if you're opened up, they can walk through you.
I get his point. The wording was
I'm
weird,
not
but
saying-
I get his point.
How was that funny?
You want somebody to walk.
I'm over here trying to say something like,
I got you, Kobe. Don't
I
worry.
get it. Very, very. Come on, comedic relief.
Oh yeah, he did it,
I won't talk
guys.
anymore, don't worry.
No, it's
No,
okay.
no. But
I get what you're saying, bro.
it's important to be vulnerable because when you're open, other people feel safe in that environment to also be open.
Really, bro?
The lemon cake said,
Actually,
James,
pass
keep
it.
Okay.
Hey, pass that.
I'll go to hell with my insecurities. You can eat sweets.
Wait, we cutting this out.
No.
no. Listen.
Oh,
All right, bros. this was, I think, a really good one. Not just for the podcast in general, but I think for us as well. And being open with each other and being
very true.
That support for each other.
Yeah, and once again, talk to us. Let us know what you guys think, how you guys feel. Because, like, we're getting, like, tons of encouragement. And the more encouragement you guys give, the more motivated we become. So thank you guys so much.
Should we, like, plug stuff?
Yeah, the biggest way to contact us is on our Instagram page.
Some of y'all listening might not, like, have a social institution like we talked about. So this podcast can be y'all social institution.
Yeah, also, get plugged into a church. That should be a social institution.
Yeah,
that's a big
also,
definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't have an Instagram before, really. I mean, I had one, but I didn't, like, do anything.
Yeah.
So...
Mm-hmm.
But now I have it back. I don't post anything. But if you guys want to give it
You
a
can
few
follow
follows.
You can follow, but...
And I might start posting if I get a few. Maybe.
James has got you some stuff to
Yeah,
post.
that's true.
Yeah, I do.
If you guys like the photos James put out of me, I might start posting my own content.
Yeah.
All right, so but you can follow us at
posting my own content
at NoDream Records on Instagram, and then everybody's main page that they use.
Oh yeah, I'm at Stankulon.
That's literally his Instagram.
STANKULON.
Please put different names for Jonathan in the comments below.
Yeah, Stankulon isn't.
Oh, I don't have one either.
Everyone put Stankulon in the comment.
And if you want to
Just
put
that.
one for Kobe, do that as well.
I'm thinking Boot Boot though. You know?
Boot Boot's on
The
there.
boot.
Oh,
Yes,
so
sir.
I almost forgot. Big announcement, right? So as you guys know, Exodus is not here with us. Sadly, he's still alive.
All right.
What was that? He's still alive. Comedically, he's still alive. And he's been busy, and he's been working on some music.
Oh,
Living Bobby.
And
We're a music label.
guys, I think he's going to drop a song. We're not doing this again. He's gonna drop.
He did a cover of the Halo 3.
No, he did not do a cover of Halo 3. But yeah, Exodus just dropped some music. This is premium stuff, guys. This is premium stuff. And this is like his official music and all that. Like NoDream, we're gonna be having some collabs too. Like as NoDream's music will be like collabs between me and him.
Bro, I look up to Exodus so much. Like, this man is awesome.
He's literally alright. But check that out.
It's not that tall.
Yeah, for real, check that out, guys.
and again, once again,
that's it.
our Instagram page is NoDream
We
Records.
already plugged it.
Yeah, but all of our ats,
too. Let's go.
all of our ats are in the bio. So if you ever need to reach out to us, that's where
Should I plug my Instagram?
Love me. Love me. What the world?
Bro, I literally ate like 3 more.
The woman disappeared.
Guys,
Every time we eat, you do this. Every time we're eating something, you do the same.
Next podcast we'll be discussing the lemon cake. We'll be reviewing it. It'll be great.
Gotta do it. Did you see the beach we had?
Let me swallow this cake real quick.
Alright, guys.
Alright, guys, NoDream Jail.
NoDream Youth.
Oh, Kobe. Because I don't have any names, so NoDream Kobe.
Jonathan, NoDream, Undecided.
Power Rangers. Disassemble.
Rangers.
Blue Ranger.
Blue Ranger. Wait, no, I'm yellow.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot to say it. We got NoDream. What the one dream? Praise the one king. Out.
I didn't know that.
Out.
Out. Never out. Like,
I don't even want to do this.
What do you mean you don't even want
I
to
can't
do
do this one.
It's an outro, bro. We both
outros. This is getting old.
What do you mean this is getting old? This is consistency. This is congruency.
They don't listen to this.
No swears.
Nobody listens.
Yes, they do. If you do, like, comment, subscribe, and hit those bell notifications.
Hurry up, we're running out of music.
We're not running out of music. What are you talking about?
So in the book of Revelation, there's this big scroll that nobody can open. So Jesus goes and he opens it for us. Everybody's all sad because nobody can open the scroll, but Jesus is the only one who is worthy to open the scroll. And all of heaven rejoices because he's the only one who can open the scroll. I'm running out of music, I'm running out of time. This talk was about identity. So make sure you find your identity in Christ. NoDream Jail.
NoDream Youth out.
Yeah.